Hello everyone. Today I want to share why I study economics. And although I wrote a script for this video, instead I want to do a free flow and open myself to be vulnerable and share my current thoughts. So, there are two main reasons why I chose to study economics. First one being financial freedom, and second, to better understand the world and understanding others. So, the first one being financial incentive. I'd say this arose maybe around middle school when I had the privilege and opportunity to come to America. And I recognized that in hindsight, money bought you opportunities such as education and healthcare, and that became kind of more prevalent in my life as I aged. And the second one being better understanding the world. And this relates with the definition of economics, which is the study of scarcity, as well as incentives and decisions people make based on scarcity. And scarcity means that there is a finite amount of a resource. And understanding basic economic principles allows me to better understand the world and people. Let me explain a basic economic concept. So, the study of incentives. There's extrinsic incentive and there's also an intrinsic incentive. Extrinsic is things that doesn't come from within you. For example, it could be compensation for your work, for your labor. If I work as a janitor and I put in time to sweep the floor, I am compensated with currency, with $1 or whatever the wage rate is. And if an incentive is intrinsic, then I am performing the job because I get satisfaction out of that. And understanding this concept really allows me to be less vulnerable, more defensive. For example, if I am encountered with a salesperson, as a kid I would definitely be more vulnerable. I would give in, but now I try to think, why is this person doing this? And by trying to understand their incentives, why, the reason behind their actions, it allows me to make better decisions. So those are the main two reasons why. And the current SEC, Securities and Exchange chairperson, Gary Gensler, has stated that finance, it sits in the middle of an hourglass. And if you guys don't know what an hourglass is, it's a glass in a shape of two triangles, and there's sand at the top, and the sand kind of trickles down onto the other one. And he stated that finance sits at the middle of the hourglass. The sand represents billions and trillions of dollars. And this explains why Wall Street investment bankers, they make boatloads of money. I think the entry position on average is around $100,000. And the salary just gets higher and higher as you climb the income hierarchy. And he states that if you're able to capture a small share within sitting at the middle of the hourglass, think about it. There's billions and trillions of dollars that are trickling down, and just getting a little share gets you uber wealth. And kind of trying to grasp that concept was quite incredible. And this applies to not only finance, but I'm sure with other, this analogy can be used with other professions as well. But although I'm really interested in having resources for the opportunities and for providing, I also am very fascinated about the decision-making processes and its implementation to day-to-day life. And I know that economics, it's not a natural science, it's a social science, the study of people. But for me, currently, I really value it because it has changed my life, and I'm always open. All social sciences, they're very correlated. For example, philosophy and economics, politics, and economics is very correlated, and we can all learn from different fields. So I don't ever want to stay limited by the one field, and I don't have it figured out, but there's beauty in every single field in sciences. And the jobs we have now, in 40 or even 50 years ago, that hasn't existed before. Let's talk about, for example, the agricultural change in America. Back in 1700s, the 1800s, there was the amount of farmers accounted for around 30% of America's population, but now it's less than 1%. But despite that, the amount of output increased, which shows an increase in productivity. And within that, of course, these farm workers have to find new jobs, which could be a lot of pain if they're older, and learning a skill could be difficult. But for those people who have adapted, it's incredible because they can find new jobs, higher wages, and they have adapted to finding their own bubble. And currently, I do see that people who have skills and experiences are heavily rewarded by society. So it's essential to learn specific knowledge that society can't train you for, because if you're replaceable, then you become obsolete. And if you can't provide value, then you won't be compensated. So learning skills is essential for survival. It's kind of how I think of it. And yeah, it's quite tough. And this is not to belittle any jobs at all, but it's important to think about whether your job is going to be existing in 20 years or in 40 years. For example, if we talk about automation, think about what Tesla and other electronic vehicle companies are doing, creating self-driving cars. And a lot of men and women work in the service industry of automobiles, truck drivers, for example. If truck driving could be automated, that's going to be really, really challenging for all those truck drivers. So we need to make sure we gather skills so that we can't be irreplaceable and always be open. I think that will allow people to have more control over their life and more security. So those are some of the things that I've been kind of learning, and I wanted to share that with y'all. So yeah, there's more. I don't have it figured it out, not at all. But it's important to find your desires and your goals, and it's completely fine if you don't have it figured out. It's okay to imitate or just copy, for you to figure out if this is something that you're interested in. All right. Well, thank you once again for wasting your valuable time with me, and I hope to talk to you soon. All right? Peace.